tell me about a typical Saturday, childhood. I know you've talked about movies. Tata maybe gave you and Savarino some money. Tell me about that. And don't spare the details.
for for years, the price of admission at the Surf, which is one of the three theaters we usually went to, was 16 cents for kids under 14. But it's amazing. We would go there and we would see a lot of kids who were already shaving and they'd be shelling out their 14, 16 cents. Anyway, they would save that extra dime. We would get 26 cents. We would save that extra dime to buy some popcorn.
So what year would this have been? Would this have been 45?
Yeah, it was the 40s, I guess, until I was about 12, maybe up to 1951.
Okay.
I was born in 39, so you can do the math.
So how much would Tata give you?
Tata would give Severino and me 52 cents, usually a $50 and 2 pennies, buy us tickets and a treat.
What treat?
Well, it was usually a box of popcorn, but because, well, that was the
to
best
share or
buy
each?
No, we each got one. Oh, yeah. We didn't share.
Why not?
But, I guess because I would accuse him of taking too much popcorn, or he would spill some of mine just to spite me, and then I wouldn't have much. So, no, we kept our own accounts. We were our own bankers. Now, once in a while, we would go to a place called Funk's. That's next to well, now I don't know what it's become, but it was connected to what used to be Murphy's Drugstore, which was a very popular soda fountain. Anyway, we would go to Funk's and sometimes buy one of those balsa wood airplanes, and we'd fly them. We thought we were pilots. They cost a dime. So if we would forfeit our treat, we could get a little balsa wood airplane, and they would fly. Real nice.
So how much would a soda had cost at the theater?
A soda would cost a nickel.
Okay, but you guys chose popcorn instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the things were, yeah, a nickel, a dime would buy you an ice cream sandwich, but we never tried those there.
Now at the theater, if you bought a soda, would it be in a glass bottle?
It would be in a cardboard cup.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what about the movies? What kind of movies did you watch? Were there previews?
Yes, there was a variety of things. There was usually a double feature, usually a Western, and then some kind of schmaltzy with a lot of hugging and kissing, or a musical. We saw a lot of musicals, which we didn't look forward to. We didn't care for those at the time. Well, I think they did it that way on purpose because the first movie, which would be a Western almost always, would keep us kids happy. And then they put on the schmaltzy romance thing, and the theater was just about empty. But I think they knew what they were doing. I think they knew that if they had a double feature, they could make more money. They could sell them another box of popcorn.
So was there news before the movie?
Yeah, there would be. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. There was something called the Newsreel or something. It was always in black and white. There was a lot of jazzy music to accompany it. And it would give the headlines similar to the headlines we would read if we subscribed to a paper. Now, at the time, we subscribed to Daily Optic, which hasn't changed in the past years. But if we were to buy the Journal or the Denver Post or the New York Post, which cost a whole quarter, then we would probably be reading about the same things we'd be seeing on that newsreel. It was called Newsreel.
Okay. So how long were the movies? Were they 2 hours like a movie these days?
Yeah. pretty close.
So you spent 4 hours in the theater?
Oh, we would spend more if we could, if we liked the movie.
Wow.
Now, one thing that we never did, maybe because we were disorganized or maybe because we were stupid or late or tardy or something, we would show up at the movie after Tata, my dad, after he gave us the 52 cents. Now, that could be at 1, 1:30, 2:15, it didn't matter. We'd go in, and whatever was showing was showing. Then we'd always stay until we got to that same part because they were continuous.
Oh, they just ran it over and over again. So you could stay all day if you wanted to.
We could, and sometimes we did.
Interesting.
And a couple of times we got kicked out of there. An usher who was bigger than we were said, "Oh no, I've been paying attention. You've been here for 2 hours or something."
So they didn't want you to stay.
No.
Okay.
I guess they figured that maybe we would block some of the seats or prevent other people. But I thought that by having us there, it didn't pay off in our case, but other kids who had more money, they would buy more refreshments. And that's how they made a lot of their profit.
So 52 cents. How much was the ticket?
Ticket was 16 cents.
Okay. And then your popcorn was 10.
Right.
So that's 26. Okay. What about the movie? I assume the quality was okay. They were black and white.
They were almost all black and white.
Some of them were color.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them were color.
Did you have to pay more for that?
No, we didn't pay any more for that. But usually we had, there was always a cartoon to which we looked forward to. That was always in color. But usually the Westerns, or those with just little known actors, they would be in black and white. And then, a musical or other things of more depth that would appeal more to the adults in the audience, they would be in color.
Now, if you went 2 Saturdays in a row, would you see the same content?
No, they changed it every Monday.
So did you have any idea of what you were getting into before you went to the theater? Did you care? Was it complete?
We didn't know we didn't care. No.
Okay. So sometimes you got lucky and sometimes you didn't.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of times we didn't get lucky. A lot of times we saw this boring Western, although that's what they showed, almost guaranteed a Western every Saturday.
Now, were they predictable? Black, bad guy, black hat, bad guy, white hat, good guy.
Absolutely.
Deal?
Yeah. Yeah, we knew right away. One time, Severina and I were watching Western, and this fellow in black came up. He got out of a train, and Severina said, he poked me and said, he's going to be the bad guy. But then he smiled. He had the prettiest smile. And he helped this lady with her baggage. And then Severino said, I was wrong. And so, I had my hopes built up thinking this would be the hero that I worshiped. And it didn't turn out that way.
So he was the bad guy?
He turned out to be the bad guy. Yeah.
So were they all in English?
Yeah. Now, there were Spanish movies, but usually at the Kiva Theater.
Now, so you never went to the Kiva. You always went to the Surf.
Oh, well, once in a while, Nina and Tata, my parents, would want to go to a movie. And I don't know why they would take me, but they would invite me. And there were
not the other kids?
No. I think that they didn't want to go, or they had studies or something they had to take care of. But as you went halfway down the theater on the right side, there were steps, wide steps that would lead up to probably one of the rooms where they have storage or something. And many times I would go and lie on one of the steps. There were several, they were long, and I fall asleep there. And I think part of it was just make sure that they kept an eye on me.
But these movies were in Spanish, and at that time, you were 12 or younger. You didn't understand it anyway.
No.
What about Catholic school? What was it like to go to a Catholic school?
It was terrifying. I used to Well, I used to shake in my boots a lot, and I was expelled several times. No, I'm teasing. I wasn't expelled. I was what you would call a nerd, a good student who would do his work. But I hardly remember anything from grade school. I remember that I couldn't play ball. The other kids would, but I never got invited to play ball.
Just because they didn't invite you, the
Right.
other kids didn't invite you.
Well, some of the kids, like we had, some of the Maloofs and Eliases and kids whose parents owned stores downtown. A liquor store is a very profitable kind of thing. Somebody else, his father owned a big hardware store, so we attracted a lot of students whose parents were wealthy. Now they weren't necessarily Catholic. We were supposed to be Catholic, but they made exceptions because these kids always paid their tuition on time. Okay. Oh, but anyway, you were asking me about I forget what the last question
I
was.
was just asking about Catholic school, so you're
Yeah.
you're doing, yeah. I mean, that's good.
Mhm.
So you don't remember much about grade school, but you do high school.
Yeah, high school.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, I gained a little bit of weight and I became more popular in high school. And, well, something that very, very few people know who know me was that I had a terrible lisp.